Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round one of our first special Sun and Moon base set and on format tournament that happened at Die Hard Games on June 13th, 2024. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. Our second special Sun and Moon base set and on format tournament will be Thursday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games, and go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. Over on the left, we have Lugia. On the right, we have Lightning, Electricity. Historically, it's not a good sign for the Lugia deck here versus a Lightning deck, as Lugia is weak to Lightning, but we'll see what's going to happen as our Lugia player kicks things off for us with a Capturing Aroma. That item has you flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for a evolution Pokemon. If tails a basic, we flipped heads. We found that Archeops with the powerful Primal Turbo ability, something this deck is all about. The first minigame with this deck, though, is getting that Lugia down and getting those Archeops in the discard pile. We got the Lugia down at least. The Archeops we can get in the discard pile next turn, so not the worst position here yet. As they pass things over to our Lightning player, Tapu Koko Prism in the active spot. A Vikavolt V hits the bench here. I didn't quite see what that supporter was there. Must be an electric generator as our item card played right now. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then you may attach up to 2 lightning energy you find there to your bench lightning Pokemon. So double lightning hits that Vikavolt V on the bench, powering it up. It's got the Paralyzing Bolt attack for 2 energy. During your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand, and 50 damage as well. Item lock is very annoying, let's say, in the Pokemon trading card game, and very powerful. See a Quick Ball in hand. Definitely some play in hand. We just got to figure out the right sequence of things to play and what to discard. So Quick Ball is played first. You discard a card and you can search your deck for a basic Pokemon. So discard that Pokegear 3.0 to search out that Miraidon EX with the Tandem Unit ability. Looks like they're shuffling up, so maybe they're not going back in with Tandem Unit quite yet. Maybe you want to play another electric generator first, as our player decides how best to piece together the rest of their first turn. Next is electric generator. Let's look at the top 5, and we find 1 lightning energy there to accelerate. So that gets accelerated onto the Miraidon EX on the bench. 3 energies in play already on turn 1 for our lightning deck here. And there hasn't even been a manual attachment for turn yet. There we see it on the active Tapu Koko. Next, an escape rope is played. That item card has the opponent switch a Pokemon from their bench into the active, and then you do the same afterwards. So it looks like the Minccino moves to the active spot over on Lugia's side, and that Vikavolt V into the active on the Lightning side. Anything else to do this turn aside from attack? We're debating on playing that card. I couldn't quite make it out. A Marnie. That supporter card has both players shuffle their hands, put it at the bottom of their deck, and then draw, or the Marnie player, draws 5 from the top, and the opponent gets 4 cards. Very powerful disruption card from the Sword and Shield era. Getting new life here in our Sun and Moon On format, as a Miraidon EX on the bench uses its Tandem Unit ability. You could search your deck for up to 2 basic lightning Pokemon to add to the bench. The Zapdos is deemed relevant here with its lightning symbol ability, plus 10 damage for your lightning basics. And that future technology combining with the older technology here, the legacy technology, let's say, that Iron Hands EX hits the bench with the dreaded Amp You Very Much attack. So our board's getting built pretty nicely here for our Lightning player. And that Mencino, oh, that's why the Lightning symbol was relevant on the Zapdos. Plus 10 damage to Vikavolt V's Paralyzing Bolt, bringing it up to 60 damage, enough to KO the 60 HP Mencino, and lock items. What that means for our Lugia player basically is no Ultra Ball can be played to discard the Archeops and find the Lugia V-Star. As Snorlax rolls into the active spot and play resumes on its side, V-Guard energy attached to the bench Lugia, and Serena is played, discarding 3 cards to draw up to 5 cards in hand. I was trying to figure out what happened to the Archeops that was grabbed last turn, but it was Marnied away, right? So 5 fresh new cards to work with this dual Serena supporter. Mew EX found and put onto the bench, and things are just passed back over to our Lightning player. I wonder how many item cards were in our Lugia player's hand. That item lock is no joke. Okay, so we definitely have an attack this turn, a knockout if we want it, but it's probably more important just to keep up the item lock, I imagine. We'll see what our Lightning player thinks is best here as they consult their hand, downloading as much information as they can from their discard pile to better inform their next move. Lightning energy getting attached to the active potentially. It has a super zap cannon as well for 3 energy, 190 damage, and discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. The quote issue with that is super zap cannon breaks the item lock, right? That's been so powerful, making this a basic, making the Lugia's player's last turn very lackluster. Looks like there's nothing else to do but chill and Paralyzing Bolt. 60 damage, and the Lugia player cannot play item cards. Let me try to see the hand here. It looks like a Mencino was found and put onto the bench here. Lots of energy in that hand. There is a Capturing Aroma, but I don't think that would do any good, as a boss's order is played to bring up that heavy Iron Hands EX into the active spot, trying to slow our Lightning player down here, as a gift energy gets attached to the bench Mencino, and Mew uses Restart to draw up to 3 cards in hand. Nothing else really to play as things are passed back over to our Lightning player. Can they move this future technology out of the active spot? And Arven is being played now, most likely to find an item that can do so. The supporter Arven allows you to search your deck for a item card and a tool card. Usually Arven finds the item such as the electric generator. But if there's that basic switch in hand, that could be helpful. I see the escape board. That will not get the Iron Hands out of the active, as I think it has a 4 retreat cost. Escape board only reduces the retreat cost by 1. So let's see what tools our Lightning player has to respond to this stall play. They are debating the escape board for sure. And I mean, you might as well grab a tool card if you have a target, for Arven in the deck, even if you don't have a plan to play that tool that turn. I think you still, or there is merit to still grabbing it, as it thins that card out of your deck, leaving just the good stuff in there for you to draw on your turns. So finally, our player settles on the electric generator. Maybe they don't play a basic switch or a switch card or something along those lines, but they go for that electric generator as well as the Forest Seal Stone. Lightning attached to the active Iron Hands EX, and maybe they don't play any switching cards aside from the Guzma, since you can play the Guzma in our Sun and Moon On base set format. The Lightning player has been slowed down here as things are passed back over to our Lugia player, who now can play items. Capturing Aroma is first, flipping heads on that, so they're going to search their deck for a Evolution Pokemon. Depends on what's in hand for what target they grab. It can either be that Lugia V-Star or the Archeops, and remember, it's so important to get those Archeops in the discard pile to be summoned later on by that Lugia V-Star. Let's see if our player can push it together. I think their hand, or put it together. I think their hand is pretty clogged with energy cards, which is a side effect of this energy-heavy Lugia deck. Our player is taking a peek through their deck, making sure of what resources that they have available as well, and that they for sure want to grab that Archeops. But you for sure need those. Need them in the discard pile, and you get them that way by having them in your hand first. A couple energy and another Mincino potentially. So energy can be attached, and Mincino can be benched, and we could restart for one, I guess, if our player wants to do that. And I don't think they have any other choice, really, as Jet Energy is placed onto the Mew, bringing it into the active spot. It does have free retreat, so it can retreat into a one prizer if needed at the end of turn. We see it do just that here, retreating into that Mincino with the gift energy attached to it. And call for family, or whatever Mincino's attack is, to search the deck for basic Pokemon to add to the bench, but no targets selected here. I think the player must believe there is enough on the bench there to get them through, so no need to grab another target. Most importantly, the one prizer's in the active spot with the gift energy, that if that Pokemon's KO'd by attack damage, you fill your hand up to 7 cards before promoting your active and starting your turn. So not a bad play here for our Lugia, doing everything they can to stay in this game versus the legacy technology. Looks like our Lightning player just has an attach and pass for their turn. Lightning energy attached to the active Iron Hands. It needs 4 energy, 3 or 4, let's say, to start swinging. And things are passed back over to our Lugia player. Staring down this electric board across from them, can they get Archeops in the discard pile? Ideally 2. And summon them with that Lugia V-Star, Summoning Star, V-Star power ability. Therapeutic energy attached to the bench Mew EX. Another Lugia V put down onto the bench as insurance in case one of them gets knocked out. They are Lightning Weak. Oh, and because we're actually going in with this Lugia. Read the Wind, its first attack. Discard a card from hand and then draw 3 cards. So that's a way to get an Archeops in the discard pile. We got one in there. Maybe next turn we can get 2 plus that Lugia V-Star and start rolling, special rolling. As our Lightning player begins their turn, Forest Seal Stone goes on to that Vikavolt V. That gives it the V-Star power ability, Star Alchemy. Search your deck for a card. And they search for that double turbo energy to power up the Iron Hands EX. So the double turbo energy, okay, never mind. We're in the Sun and Moon On format here. That is actually double colorless energy. There's no downside like double turbo has of it. It does minus 20 to the attacks. Your Pokemon's attacks do minus 20 if they have the double turbo energy attached. The double colorless energy is just 2 colorless energy, no downside. So that gets attached to the active Iron Hands EX, and things are going to look very scary for our Lugia player here. Our Lightning player is debating on attaching that escape board, but nope, no need to do that. And yeah, we did amp you very much there. Iron Hand has amp you very much attack, 120 damage, and if the Pokemon's knocked out by that attack, take an extra prize. Lugia V is weak to lightning, so Amp you very much, takes the KO on it for 3 prize cards there. Pushing us directly into the end game here with 2 prizes left for our lightning player, as our Lugia player starts their turn with a Great Ball with Mew EX in the active spot. Great Ball is an item that lets you look at the top 7 cards of the deck, and you may add a Pokemon card that you find there to your hand. So this is how we can find the Lugia V-Star or the Archeops. But will the lightning weakness be just too much for the Lugia deck to overcome, as well as the disruption at the beginning of the game, the item lock and the Marnie? On paper, not looking good. In practice, we're kind of seeing that as well. But let's see what our Lugia player can put together to come back into this game as they find a Archeops with the Great Ball. Okay, we got a second Archeops. Now do we have something like Ultra Ball in hand to discard it? And find that Lugia V-Star finally? I don't think so. I think it was a bunch of Pokemon energy. There is a Serena in hand. So maybe Serena can help here. Mist energy attached to the bench Mincino, preventing effects of attacks done to it. And then Serena is played. There we go, discarding those 3 cards in hand, and then drawing up to 5 in the hand. So we've got the double Archeops in the discard pile. Can we find that Lugia V-Star? And it looks like the answer is no. I think that was the Lugia V in hand. But no Lugia V-Star. No Ultra Ball either to find it. Just unlucky here. Sometimes it's just not your game. Our Lugia player seems to be analyzing the board state here, seeing if they've got any way to come back into this game. Should I keep playing, or is the writing on the wall? No, I think that was actually Minion in hand, and it looks like, yep, that's what's happening here. Is our Lugia player does not really see a way that they could win. They are showing the player their hand, they're showing the player their deck. They're like, yeah, I don't think there was any way I'm coming back into this game, so you got it, homie. Good game. And what a way to kick off our special Sun and Moon On format tournament. What do you think of this video in the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.